Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Gord, your hurtin' hippie. Welcome to a week in review. Yes, shame on me. I've often said these kind of let's look back and see what's happened of things I've already shared is kind of lazy. But it's Saturday for me, and I'm gonna be lazy. It's okay. It's okay. I can do a non-adult only, just review of the week. There's been some incredible things going on this week. So I figured, why not? I'm currently, well, let's first say, today, right now, it's Saturday the 11th. Yes, 20 years after that infamous day. We'll talk about that a little later. Stay tuned. But it is plus 11 Celsius. Feels like 9. It's raining. We've had so little rain in the prairies here in Alberta for this year that I'm real happy to see the rain. Really happy. And as I said, September 11th. So we're a week and a few days into school. And that's what I'm going to start with is Pasha's finished his first full week of school. We certainly had a few issues, to bumps and bruises to work through, and I just mean mentally. But he's loved it. He's got good teachers, a good outlook. I wouldn't even say a good outlook, a great outlook. And one thing I sure noticed is everywhere I go, people are saying hi to Pasha. Everywhere I go, people are telling me what a great guy he is. He's got a really good year ahead of him, so yeah. I am happy. But in that week of going back and forth to school and him taking himself to school, he's grown up, my friends. Something interesting happened, and I shared it with y'all, but I'm going to share it again. Yeah, look at that. An explosion. This used to be a tattoo parlor. It was leased out to a bunch of tattoo artists, and it's been empty for a year. And then all of a sudden, Tuesday morning at 9:40 in the morning, it blows up. And like I said, it's been empty for a year. However, for some reason, at time of explosion, there were 6 people in there. None of them hurt, just shook up. So, what's that mean? What's that all about? Sorry, I just washed my hair, can't do a thing with it. Friends, interesting, but I can't say there was nefarious things going on because so far everything I looked at in the paper says there wasn't, but it sure seems strange to me. And some really good news. Yes, we're going to put the applause back on. My dad is not in the hospital anymore. 5 or 6 months he's been in the hospital. Trouble with the hip, trouble with the knee, but mostly trouble with dementia and urinary tract infections and all those kinds of things. And they wouldn't let him go back home to his home because you couldn't get the right kind of care, and there was no room in long-term care facilities. It all worked itself out this week. It's one of, I don't know which I'm more proud of, which I'm more happy about. Pasha having a good week at school and liking his school again, or my dad waking up this morning in a home with beautiful people who look after him really nice. My sister says they're just absolutely incredible there. He's getting all the care he needs that he wasn't properly getting at the hospital, and he was getting at the hospital with grumpy, overworked nurses, and no offense to them at all. No offense to them at all. They've gone through a hell of a year and a half, but it's not the place to live. It's a place you visit. and he couldn't go back and live at his house. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad he's in the home, not alone in his house. He has friends, he can share his stories, he can listen to new stories, he can move around, he can even go across the street to the truck stop and buy himself a chocolate bar. Yeah, I'm happy for my dad. I know the whole family is. My sister, who has looked after him tirelessly for years, finally has a break. And I'm happy for her, but I'm happy for this entire family. I think my dad will see 90, and who knows, he may see 100. Let's push for it. Let's push for it. Give it the thumbs up if you agree. And third, what's happening this week? Well, today is the beginning of Hemp Fest. Hemp Fest is something it didn't happen last year during COVID, but has happened for many years in a row. I've been there very often. In fact, I've been there almost every time, I think. Not going this time. I have way too many things to do to prepare for week 2 at school and groceries and all that kind of stuff. But it's there. If I hear something about it, I will share it with y'all. I don't think there's any sales or anything. It's just celebrating cannabis. And I do that every day. And discussing that should not make this adult only. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. So we get to the fourth thing that's going on this week that I mentioned earlier on. And I thought I need to at least pay homage to the memory of 20 years ago today, 9/11. For the first time, I think ever, I told Pasha my story of that morning. And I'm going to share it with you all because it was probably one of the most iconic days in my life, a day I'll remember forever, and a fear that I'll never forget. I'm not going to get into, and please don't comment below, on all the conspiracy theories around 9/11. Ain't interested in that discussion anymore. I just want to know, where were you? I know what it meant to almost all y'all, but I'll tell you my story. I was driving to work. I can't remember, 6 to 7 a.m., somewhere around there. I was driving to work, and as always, I listened to the radio station. And they cut in and they said, we just had a report of a plane going into the main building at the World Trade Center in New York. And we don't have any idea the size of the plane, probably just some crazy in a small plane or something like that. So I thought, well, that's curious. We have a TV in our conference room at work. So I get to work, I drop my stuff off in my office, and I round up my employees and a few of the other people in the office, and I say, come on, let's go see what's going on here. And we turned on the TV just at the time that they showed the second plane crashing in. And I'm doing my best to keep the tears down while I talk about this, because I remember we had maybe 10 or 12 people in that room, and that plane went into that, and I don't think a word was said. I don't think you even heard a gasp. I'm not sure we breathed at that moment. And then we were all just fixated and watching it. And I can't remember how long it went before one of the buildings fell. But there was no work done that morning. And I'd say probably half the staff went home. And I struggled, but I made it through the day. And it started over a year of fixation watching CNN morning, noon, and night, and even waking up during the night to hear more. I learned then about anxiety, and I don't think I ever looked back. So there we go. I made it through without tears. I needed to speak about that. But let's get back into the positive, because here we are 20 years later, and that hasn't happened again. And there, but for the grace of God, go we. Let's hope it doesn't. Now that we've gone through all that, I just want to circle all the way back to what a great week. A great week for my young son, and a great week for the youngest of my family, of my, what do you call that? Of my direct siblings. The youngest of my direct siblings has had a good, wonderful week, and the oldest of my family, the patriarch of my family, yes, my dad, there he is, sitting with a couple of men, sharing stories, having a meal, the way life should be. My friends, peace and cheers. Love and harmony.